Hi, good evening. This is Valerie Johnson, and I'm coming to you live. Late, but live. We apologize for the technical difficulties this evening, but you can always see our workers' comp talk on our Facebook page. On Workers' Comp Talk, we get to talk about all of your burning workers' comp questions. I'm Valerie Johnson, and I want you to know that there are answers to the questions about a denied claim. Why could your claim have been denied? And what happens next if you decide to move forward? Why, in fact, you might be in better shape than you realize when your claim has been denied. On our Facebook Lives, we address your questions and explain the answers in a simple way. The area of workers' comp that we might cover will be different, but the format's the same. We have a given topic. You can type a general question in the comments, but not revealing your case, and we'll answer them, whether it's live or even after a live session, if you leave a comment afterwards. Now, I've been practicing workers' compensation law for more than 25 years, and I'm board certified by the state of North Carolina as a workers' comp specialist. I've written a book, a treatise, we call them, on the topic. And I also practice with an awfully good team of attorneys at Johnson and Groniger. And I know I speak for all of us when we say that we really like sharing our knowledge and experience with injured workers and the people who care about them in order to empower them during the process. So if you know anyone who would be interested in this episode, do them a favor. Tag them in the comments or share this to your personal page. You can also like us and follow us on Facebook, and you'll get notifications of our next Workers' Comp Talk. Now, what I will talk about today is legal information, and it's not intended to be legal advice for a particular claim or case. We offer a free consultation in workers' comp cases if you would like to know more about your own particular legal situation. Our phone number is posted on the screen through the magic of social media broadcasting. For example, today I talked to two people and answered their questions. Know that you can also you can search us out and contact us through our website at jglawNC.com. So we'll call you. And we have some free books that we will send you if you ask for them or send them to someone in your family that you care about. Now, today's episode is about denied workers' comp claims, about what happens when you get hurt at work and you get a letter and a form in the mail saying that the insurance company will not pay. They won't pay for your claim. So during this episode of Workers' Comp Talk, I'm going to cover three things. First, what are some possible real reasons behind your claim denial? Second, what is the next thing that you can do if you get a denial and you disagree? And then what happens? And last, I'm going to talk about the possible silver linings in denied workers' compensation cases. So, what could be the real reason behind your denial? Maybe the claim wasn't covered by workers' compensation laws in North Carolina. Not all injuries are. That's hard to believe sometimes, but every injury you receive at work is not covered by workers' compensation. That's the way the law was written. And the law just is, it's something that developed over time. So we can say that many claims, most claims, are going to be covered by workers' comp, but not all injuries are. Perhaps they are saying that it was not an injury by accident, because in North Carolina, that means that an injury must take place under circumstances that are an interruption in your normal work. So that refers to the way the injury happened. Maybe you need to see whether or not that injury was unexpected, like a fall. That's usually the example we use because falls are unexpected. Or maybe it happened during a new job or new tasks that weren't yet routine to you. Was the injury not reported on time? In general, you have 30 days to report an injury, but it should be reported as soon as possible after it occurs. You should report the claim in writing. But you may be able to prove that, in fact, you didn't know how serious the injury was, and that can be a reasonable excuse. Was it denied because it is an occupational condition or disease that was caused by work? If so, you have to show that the work not only caused, but also that it was started by the work duties. You have to also show that your work puts you at an increased risk of developing the condition. That's something that only a doctor can do. You may know that it absolutely comes from work. Other people may have gotten this condition from work, but you have to have medical opinions to show the relationship of the condition to your work. And often the employer or the insurance company will deny it, even if you can later do that. Maybe, however, your job just doesn't believe you. Even when the injury is clear, the insurance company may say that it doesn't come from work. It comes from something that was particular to yourself. But the most likely reason, they're not paying because they decided not to. And once they make that decision at the insurance company or at the employer, if the employer is paying the claim, then they have no further responsibility to do you. So what do you do now? What's the very next thing you do? If you disagree and believe that your claim should be paid by workers' comp, well, the very next thing you ought to do is to ask a lawyer what their opinion is. And the lawyer you ask ought to know workers' comp. There are many board certified specialists in North Carolina who have taken the test to be a specialist and been approved. A specialist must take classes in workers' compensation, and they must be reapproved every 5 years. And that test is hard. But it doesn't cost you anything to have a consultation, even by a board certified specialist. You could, of course, decide to represent yourself, but this area of the law is hard. Most lawyers who aren't familiar with it won't even touch a case. Should you? On your own? Remember that the other side will have a lawyer working for them. So whether you hire a lawyer or you decide to do a claim yourself, you have to file for a hearing. And the form is simple, but the process is not always. You may go to a mediation by order of the Industrial Commission. That is the state agency that presides or is over all workers' compensation cases. And if you go to a mediation and you agree to a settlement there, that settlement's final, which you sign. Don't you want to have a lawyer telling you whether or not that's in your best interest? One thing that can happen is that the company may want you to give up your job if you do settle. Of course, hearings themselves are a lot to deal with, making sure that medical records are complete, making sure that doctors will testify, and they do that after the hearing. And then other witnesses will appear. Before COVID, we went to the courthouse in Farmville or in Wilmington or whatever county we were in. We all appeared in person. Now we go to the computer. We write briefs on our client's behalf, and those are long formal documents that tell about the hearing, the testimony of the doctors, and the law. And then we write up proposed opinions, which are really the way that you win your case, because that's what the judge will file. And sometimes, unfortunately, that's how you lose the case. How long does it take? Well, it may take months to get a mediation. It may take months to get a decision. It can take easily 6 or 9 or 12 months. Your case could be appealed to by the other side, or if you don't win all the issues, by you. Cases are a lot of work. They're not really DIY, but some will do it themselves anyway. But it's not all bad if your workers' compensation case is denied. There's a possible silver lining, not for everyone, but for some people. If your case is denied, you get to go to the doctor you want, when you want to go. The company doesn't get to choose. An accepted claim, the company does get to choose. Under North Carolina workers' compensation law, the insurance carrier is given the right to direct medical treatment. And in every accepted claim, they get to say where you go to receive treatment because they're paying for it. They may have to have an authorization each time you go to the doctor, or for every set of physical therapy appointments. Oftentimes, there are huge delays associated with authorization. So if you are then figuring out your own medical treatment course, sometimes that treatment will give you the evidence you need to win your claim, because the doctor who is chosen matters. And sometimes, though, it's not a silver lining at all, because you can't afford that medical treatment. But if you have medical insurance, it is supposed to pay, even when you are pursuing your workers' compensation claims. So, all is not lost. Here are your tips of the week. Number 1, don't wait to make your claim. Once you know the injury or occupational disease came from work, report it. Report it in writing and within 30 days. If your claim is denied, you have to work to change the decision. The insurance company won't accept it on its own. It's up to you to go forward with your claim. Last, get your witnesses ready. Talk to them about what happened and what they know. Get their contact information. Now, some cases are in limbo, and those cases may be accepted and then denied later. There's a special form for that. And some cases, the insurance company won't accept it all, but will still pay the medical bills, and you might think that claim is accepted. It isn't. It's just not denied. You need to ask a lawyer. If you're not getting cash payments, or if you don't have a Form 60 accepting your claim formally, whenever your injury will be permanent. These things happen all the time. They happen because the insurance company is not on your side. They are required to do certain things by law, but sometimes they don't. It's up to you to hold them accountable. Now, that's all for now on this episode of Workers' Comp Talk. Join us next time and bring your questions. This is Valerie Johnson with Johnson and Groninger in Durham. Good night.